how come some people today say that following the madhab is like something new? You know, they say people from the never used to do that.
There are different questions that people have about following the madhab, but this question by itself is new for me.
Yeah,
So this question is bid'ah. The question is, some people say that following a madhab is something new, and therefore we should not follow it. Wallahu alam, how they are saying it, why they would say something like this. There are other objections, of course, that may be more stronger, a little stronger at least, than this one, because this one is such a question that a person who just studies the biographies of any of these scholars of Islam or have studied the seerah, the history of Islam, would never say something like this. Because when you study the books of muhaddiseen, about muhaddiseen, the life history of muhaddiseen, they are called the books of Asma'ul Rijal. And the books of Asma'ul Rijal, there are four types of books. Four types of books only. They are called Tabaqat al-Hanabla, Tabaqat al-Shafi'iyya, Tabaqat al-Malikiyya, and Tabaqat al-Ahnaf. Which means these are when they write, if you want to find a biography of Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, you want to know something about Imam Bukhari, where would you look for it? We will pick up the books about Asma'ul Rijal. Many of these books are divided according to the madhab of the person. So first thing you have to know which Imam he followed before you can find out where to find about him. And you want to know about Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, you will have to open the books that talk about the fuqaha of the Shafi'iyya, and it will give you the biography of Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. You want to know the details about Imam Abu Dawud rahimahullah, you will have to go and pick up the book that are written about the fuqaha of the Hanabla, followers of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, and his biography will be stated in there. Pick up any book of hadith. To make it easier, pick up any book of hadith. They have chain of narrators. Go through the chain of narrators. Just take one. Take as many as you want. Take that chain of narrator and start looking at the biographies of these narrators of the hadith. Each of them in his biography will be stated that which mazhab he followed. Then, how can we say that following a mazhab is something new? Great muhaddiseen. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah. What a type of muhaddis. A person who never got married for the sake of knowledge. He never got married throughout his life. If you read his biography, he's a follower of Imam Shafi rahimahullah, and he's a muhaddis. He's a follower of Imam Shafi rahimahullah. Imam Muslim rahimahullah. He's a follower of Imam Shafi rahimahullah. As I said, Imam Abu Dawud rahimahullah is a follower of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah. Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah rahimahullah, person that I mentioned about him earlier, he wrote 40,000 ahadith with his own hand. He's a follower of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Abdullah ibn Mubarak, Amir al-Mu'mineen fil hadith, he's a follower of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. So how can we say that it's something new? Basically, throughout the history, always you find that people always followed some of the Imams. Yes, at the time of Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, they used to follow different Sahaba in different towns. For example, the people of Kufa used to follow Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu because he was the greatest faqih over there. The people of Medina, they used to follow Zayd bin Thabit radiyallahu anhu. The people of Makkah used to follow Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu. And the people of Yemen used to follow Mu'az bin Jabal radiyallahu anhu. And this is how in different towns they had different fuqaha of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in that people would follow. After the time of these Sahaba, there is a very interesting hadith narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari that some people from Medina, they went to Makkah. They had a question about tawaf for women during her period. They went and asked Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu. He gave them the ruling that they knew that it was against the ruling that was issued by Zayd bin Thabit radiyallahu anhu. These are the people of Medina. So they said to Abdullah ibn Abbas, this is in Bukhari, we are not going to take your opinion over the opinion of Zayd bin Thabit. This is what he told us, so we are going to follow his opinion. Abdullah ibn Abbas never said anything to them. All he said, when you go back, he's not forcing them. When you go back after finishing all of these rituals of the Hajj and Umrah, when you go back, go and ask Salama radiallahu anha. She has some more information about it. Then when you get it from her, go and tell Zayd bin Sabit and tell him my opinion. If he changes his opinion, then you follow him in the new opinion. So this is how they used to follow. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Muaz bin Jabal radiallahu anhu to Yemen. And he told him that he will be doing ijtihad over there. So if Muaz bin Jabal is doing the ijtihad, what the rest of the people are doing there? They're following Muaz bin Jabal radiallahu anhu in his ijtihad. Because not everyone is mujtahid. This was at the time of Sahaba. It continued at the time of Tabi'een. They used to have one mufti in every town mostly. Ata ibn Abi Rubah. He became the mufti of Makkah Mukarramah. In fact, when all the people will be together, it was known that Ata ibn Abi Rubah will be the grand mufti. And especially regarding the issues of Hajj. Anyway, so that was during the time of Tabi'een. Then after that, as Fiqh was getting compiled, then gradually people started, because now they did not have those many mujtahideen in every town. So they started following one of these fuqaha. Initially there were more than 4. It wasn't only 4. Initially there were more than 4. There were many more. Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah was a great faqih. And his rulings issued, and some of them that we find, issues mentioned by him, they were so deep and they were so great that you hope that you can have more from him. But subhanallah, it was Allah's will that rest of them did not have students who would save their knowledge. It was Allah's will. And these were the 4 that their knowledge was all documented and saved and practiced. And then gradually people started practicing it. Muhaddiseen, fuqaha, mufassirin, mujaddideen, they all started following one of these 4. And finally, these 4 were only left. And the rest of them, all we learned from them is few opinions that we heard about them. Of course, in their time, they must have a lot more. But now, since it was not documented, it was not written, so we don't have anything too much about, information about what they have said in all different rules of the Sharia.
Let's say a scholar of today says something that Abu Hanifa ruled is wrong. And like some people say, oh, you should follow the scholar of today, or we should follow what...
Today some scholar tells us that Imam Abu Hanifa made a mistake in this ruling. What should we do? Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah, who we know was a great muhaddis, as I said, he was a type of muhaddis. He's a teacher of Yahya ibn Ma'in. He's the teacher of Imam Shafi'i. He's the same person about him. Imam Shafi'i says that I went and complained to him that my memory is getting weak. At a time, he's complaining about his memory being weak at a time when he used to look at the page of the Quran, he would just memorize it by seeing it. But he goes to his teacher and he complains that my memory is getting weak. And who was that teacher? It was this Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah. The teacher of Yahya ibn Ma'in. Yahya ibn Ma'in is the final source in Asma'ul Rijal. If he says about any of the people that is narrating a hadith that this person is not reliable, hadith gets rejected. Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah is his teacher. Someone in the gathering of Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah once said about a ruling that they were discussing, أخطأ Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa said this and he made a mistake. Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah got upset. And he says to this man, don't you know how this fiqh was compiled? Then he says to him, a person who had those great mujtahideen like Imam Abu Yusuf, like Imam Muhammad, like Imam Zufar around him, who are having the deep sense of ijtihad, when he had people like Yahya ibn Zakariya ibn Abi Za'idah and some others great muhaddiseen who were huffazul hadith, and he had people like Ma'an, who was known to be the best in knowing the Arabic language, and when he had people like Abdullah ibn Mubarak, who was the master of Hifz al-Hadith, in memorizing the Hadith, in knowing the tafsir and the history. And when he had people like Fudail ibn Iyad in the gathering of Imam Abu Hanifa, how can they accept that mistake if that was a mistake when he wrote that, when they documented it? He said there are 40 mujtahideen sitting around him, and when he makes a mistake, right away they correct him, and you are telling me that he made a mistake here just because of your opinion? opinion? The reason I'm mentioning this is not that they cannot make mistakes. But when today we say that they made a mistake, we have to know what's our level comparing to those people. Like Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, once someone told him about a ruling that Imam Abu Hanifa made a mistake. And he used to say it. Sufyan al-Thawri, sometime, he used to say that I don't agree with Imam Abu Hanifa regarding this ruling. But a person went to him, and he may have heard him that he differs with Imam Abu Hanifa, so he also went and he says that Imam Abu Hanifa made a mistake. So he says to that person, to judge Imam Abu Hanifa, you have to have more knowledge than him. And I see that you don't even have knowledge like the lowest student of Imam Abu Hanifa. So you better not use those words about him. SubhanAllah, this is the respect that they're teaching others. So today anyone gets up, and not only Imam Abu Hanifa, today a person gets up, all four Imams are wrong. MashaAllah. We got a person now who can really, within seconds, he rules out all four of them. I remember once, when some people who I knew really they were sincere, in a masjid, out of this town, they were sincere. They came up with these type of questions, and really, they had very strong objection about it, but they did not want to just argue about it. So when they said, there are a lot of rulings where these Imams made mistakes. So I said, okay, let's accept one thing. Where they did not, in the points where they did not make a mistake, we will follow them. Agreed? Okay, agreed. Now, point out just one ruling from each of the four Imams where that Imam have made a mistake. Tell me, practical example. Not just saying that these Imams made mistake. Give me one ruling from each of the fuqaha, each of these Imams, where that Imam have made a mistake. None of them knew a single one. None of them knew a single one where he can say that he made a mistake. And this is a reality. What is a mistake? Who are we to judge it right away without knowing the ayahs, without knowing the hadiths, to say that he made a mistake? So, yes, if they made a mistake, I will tell you one thing. There is a possibility. Human beings, they were not beyond human beings. There was a great possibility these people, as human beings, will make a mistake. But just think about it, as sitting today, about 1200 years after the time of these Imams, or somewhere 1100 years after the time of all four Imams, and great muhaddiseen, great fuqaha, mujaddideen, all of these people following one of these four Imams. Do we think these people were blind and they just closed their eyes and they did not catch that mistake? I'm the first person to catch the mistake. What did these people say about it? What if Imam Shafi, if someone is telling me Imam Shafi made a mistake, let me see what does Hafiz al-Hajar says about it. What does Imam Nawawi says about it? What does Imam Muslim say about it? They followed him, and they followed him in this ruling. Let me find out, what did these muhaddiseen say about it? Before I issue my ruling, that Imam Shafi made a mistake. He made a mistake. How about the ummah that followed him after that for the last 1100 years? They did not have that understanding that I have today. So first thing, at least before saying it, is studying what these people have said about it. What are their proofs? How they support it? Why did they follow it? And if you find that these scholars really have no proof, none of them is able to prove it to you, mashallah, then okay, you can say that he made a mistake. But without studying, without having the right knowledge about it, we should not just go with that judgment and just try to issue that ruling that they made a mistake. There is a greater chance that today I and you will make a mistake than those, all of them together, making that mistake. And especially when an issue comes where all four Imams have agreed. All four of them have agreed to an issue. And today, someone like me comes and he says, they made a mistake and all of their followers were wrong and Ummah up to this day all were mistaken. Subhanallah. And many times, really, now it's getting worse. And it will keep on getting worse. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has predicted this already in the hadith, that لَعْنَ آخِرُ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ أَوَّلَهَا. A time will come when the later portion of the ummah will keep on cursing at the first portion of the ummah. They will keep on talking against them. Situation have gone to the extent now people started judging Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in. And they will say, people from the time of Sahaba, Tabi'een, Aimma, Mujtahideen, Fuqaha, Mufassirin, all of them were wrong. Who's right? It's me. That's me. If any person came after the Prophet, I don't want to say it, but this is between the lines. When you hear those type of statements, it's me. This is, you can see how serious this is, where they would reject all of the fuqaha, all of the muhaddiseen. So keep one thing in mind, that Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, subhanallah, all four of them, they were not in this world just yesterday. It wasn't only last year. It wasn't only 50 years ago. They all were at the time of Imam Abu Hanifa, at the time of Sahaba, which means during the time of Tabi'een. Then Imam Malik came at the same time. He have seen a lot of Tabi'een. Imam Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad just came in the next generation after the Tabi'een, which is Taba' Tabi'een. That is the generation. And since then, all of these four fiqh are established. And not only established, since then, Fuqaha and Muhaddiseen are studying it. They are finding proofs for it. They are collecting all the rulings that they have mentioned, and they are basing their new rules basis on those rules that were issued by those fuqaha, and not any of them, except with a few rulings that they said, Imam Abu Hanifa made mistake here. All the fuqaha will agree that Imam Abu Hanifa made mistake here. If all the fuqaha will agree Imam Shafi made a mistake here. If they made a mistake, it will not continue in the ummah like this. They will know it. And as soon as they find out, it's out. It's not anymore in these books that we will consider as a fiqh of Shafi or Hanafi or Maliki or Hanbali. That's it. It's out. They already worked on it throughout these centuries. So, considering all of them wrong, then we better be wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
Some scholars and some other people, they kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, they skip around. They go from one madhab to the other. Maybe not because they're trying to make it easier on themselves, but because they genuinely believe that Imam Shafi'i had more had better evidence, and then Imam Malik had better evidence for this. Is that okay, or should we stick with one?
See, the question is that, and really this question arises in many people's mind, that sometimes people pick and choose from different madhahib, that, okay, Imam Abu Hanifa looks that this is better here, and that one looks better, and this person is not really, number one, if that person is doing it just to make it easier on himself, that will be a big question by itself. But the question is with sincerity. The person feels that, no, this is stronger here and this is stronger here. The point is, really, all four imams have their proofs. And as far as stronger, it may be the feeling of the person by studying one or two hadiths. Tomorrow you tell this person another hadith. What will happen? He's going to change his mind. Okay? The third day you will tell him third hadith. Now he changes his mind to third opinion. And their difference of opinion is because of that. Now, this person changes from one to second to third, depending on his own understanding of it, because he's judging the imams. What happens now? A person performed the salah today. According to him, salah was good. Tomorrow he read another hadith. He says, no, Imam Shafi'i's opinion wasn't that strong about it. I should follow Imam Abu Hanifa in this. My salah was not acceptable. I'm making up for all of my prayers from yesterday. Third day, he finds another hadith. Oh, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i, none of them found this hadith. I found it today. Now, none of my prayers were valid, and I'm going to do all of my prayers over. For how long this confusion will continue? It's a confusion in a person's life. And he's basing it just on his understanding and on his findings. So if he has access to 3 books of hadith, all the sharia to him is limited to these 3 books of hadith. And he is going to judge all the scholars of the Islam by these 3 books of hadith that he has access to. Then, Next person has 5 books of hadith. Next person has 5 books of hadith. That person will have his own opinion about which is better, which is wrong. Not. How many opinions you will have in a masjid when all of these people get together? Number one. Number two, on what platform you are going to keep all of these people together? He has his findings, he has his findings, I have my finding, everyone has his own findings. And we have different opinions about which of the imams is correct in that regard. Number three, if this confusion will continue, what will be the solution to it? How can we find solution to this confusion that a person who divorced his wife and then he finds that the ruling that says that she was not divorced is the strongest one, and after 40 years he finds another proof, he reads another book of, oh, I missed that hadith 40 years ago, all of these children are haram. This is what it is? This is what it would be. The point I'm mentioning is that if we just go by our findings and our information limited one that we have, then this is what will happen. Yes, we are not closing the doors. If there is a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed with the knowledge, and he has the time to go through all of these proofs of all the 4 imams, now he can come and tell us that, brothers, regarding this topic, I have studied the fiqh of all 4 imams. And I find after looking at all of these, I studied these books, and these books. After studying all of this, my opinion is that this is the strongest. MashaAllah, if this person have studied all of that in detail and he has all the understanding of the ruling of the Sharia and is not just depending on translations, he knows the proofs, he can understand the proofs, he knows the rulings and all of that detail, he gets to that level of ijtihad in different words, MashaAllah, do the ijtihad. But before that, to pick and choose, it will be just judging between the 4 without knowledge. Related to the topic?
Yes.
Okay.
In the times of the past, not only some of the political situations that arose that strengthened different schools. Now, today here, in many of the countries in the past before, most of the people follow a particular madhab. Everybody in that country is following the same madhab. And it was easy, because there wasn't much confusion, because everybody particularly followed that madhab because that Sahabi or Tabi or whatever came and brought that thing. Now here you have, this is the melting pot. You have everything here in America. This one's that, this one's this. And, when people came from various countries initially, different people came at different time with different madhab. How is a person to know how to choose one? How to choose which madhab they are going to choose?
Right. One question is now, since we have people from all different parts of the world and followers of all different mazahib, how should a person know what mazhab to follow now? Number one, remember, it happened in the past also, like in Egypt. People used to follow 3 different mazahib in Egypt at a time. Shafi'i, Maliki and Hanafi. All 3 of them were established. And in fact, throughout the history, it seems that they had all 3 mazahib over there. And a good follower of all 3 of them. So, there were many countries that had mixed followers of different madhahib. The point is, if the question comes on choosing, if a person wants to choose how to choose, the easiest way for a person like us to choose is, see which of the madhahib that you have access to, that you can follow and get complete information about. Because today, if someone tells us, I want to follow a Maliki, he is not following any, and he wants to start following Maliki, and there are no Maliki scholars around, where is he going to get that information about Maliki from? So get the one that you have access to, so whenever you have any ruling of the Sharia, any question about it, you can go and ask some people about it, and they know, they have that information, so you can continue following it. You won't get stuck at any point.
I have just one question. It sounds sometimes very confusing to me because of lack of knowledge. But isn't it that we give too much weight to it, to the madhahib? As far as I understand, I mean, all of the 4 Imam they had the same opinion. there was not even a hair of a difference between their aqidah. So isn't it just that we're giving too much of importance to like, or should I do this, should I do that? Because their aqidah was there, and I think for me who has no knowledge right now, I should work more on my aqidah.
If the question comes what to work on more, yes, aqidah is the most important thing in the Sharia. But when the question comes, should I just follow one or just keep on finding anything that I find from anywhere I find, then a person should be certain of what to follow. Because as I said, otherwise people are living in life of confusion. I have heard it so many masajid, so many places where people will say, really, we are tired of that. Of what? Of it. You know what does it is? Following the Sharia. Because someone says halal, another person says haram, someone says this is okay, someone says this is not okay, we don't know who to follow. I tell them, it's your fault. It's your fault because you don't know who to follow, what to follow. You come and ask me, you leave me loose to give you my opinion. And I start doing my ijtihad, give you my opinion. Next person comes, you let him loose too, and he gives you his understanding. Third person comes, he gives you his understanding. So as many people you will have, those many opinions you will have, you will be always confused. You don't know who's right out of all of these. They all sound great people. And the flyer said he's a great scholar, the other one was a great scholar too. You don't know how to choose. Really. So therefore, if a person would not limit himself or limit the person that he's asking to that one particular way of answering it, you will always be confused. So if you come, for example, to me, you tell me that I'm a follower of Hanafi. Tell me the ruling about according to Imam Hanifa. You go to the second person, third person, fourth person, ask 100 people if you want. If they would give you the right answer, if they are trustworthy people, the answer will be the same. But if you let the person lose, it will be confusion. One will say halal, the other will say haram, the third one will say makruh. And they will have all kind of opinions. The reason is because they are just giving you their opinion. They are giving you their opinion. And if we follow, we will follow their opinion. So whoever will come, we will be following their opinions. And this is a lot of people that are following deen, really, they don't know where it came from. Because I got one from one scholar, visiting scholar, I got 10 masail from him. Then 10 masail from the next visiting scholar, and 10 from the third one. And it became just a bunch of questions that we asked people, and I don't even know who said what at this time, but I know one of them said this, the other one said this, I'm going to follow this one and this one and this one. It's only confusion. In order to take over this confusion, this is the only way. The person limits himself. Number two, what normally happens is, when people study this fiqh and hadith in the light of fiqh, you see most of the time people talking about just about 4 or 5 masail. Oh, how about raising the hands during salah? How about reciting the Fatiha behind the Imam? How about saying Ameen loud and low? Few questions that are always considered the whole fiqh. In reality, this is nothing. These are issues that were already discussed in detail by all the fuqaha. They are sold. Just study that, follow whatever you like and whatever you see over there. The thing is, salah consists of hundreds of rulings. The person doesn't know no other ruling of salah. May not be even doing the salah correctly. But he wants to argue about Ameen. Why? So this is another issue that became really a big issue now amongst us, that we chose 5, 6 issues and that became the whole deen. As soon as the topic of taqleed, of a'immah, of not following or following comes, these are the only issues that will come up. That okay, there is a hadith that says this. Brother, let's go and look at your dealings, that the trade, the business, your dealings at home, your relationship with your wives, your huquq, your responsibilities, your responsibility toward your children. All of these are part of the same fiqh that you're discussing here. Do you know anything about those? No time. Because these are the only 5 issues he thought were the complete deen. And within these issues, what happens? Every person today comes up with a booklet. The Salah of the Prophet. Okay. Is he right? Yes, he's right. Another person comes with another booklet. Salah of the Prophet. Third person will come with another booklet. Salah of the Prophet. All three of them are salah of the Prophet. You read each book, it tells you a different way of offering the salah. Is any of them wrong? No. All of them are correct. But one thing is common amongst all of them. Each of them has chosen one type of hadith, neglected the other two type of hadith, and he presents that hadith to me, telling me that this is the only way Prophet did. That's wrong. There are two more different ways. The second person wrote a book according to the second way. The third person chooses the third type of hadith. Have we solved the problem? We came out of following the Imams so that we will have one way. It's not one way. If it was only one way mentioned in the hadith, then these Imams would not have differed about it. For example, I will tell you this. Go and pick up the books of hadith that are just known books of hadith. You will find about 6 different ways of raising the hand during the salah. That did Rasulullah ﷺ raise or he did not, and if he did, how many times? 6 different type of hadith within the Sahih Sittah. Someone takes one hadith where he says that Rasulullah ﷺ raised his hands in every action of the salah. In every action of the salah. Tell me, if today someone would show you a hadith in Sahih Muslim, if someone would show you a hadith saying Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to raise his hands at every movement of the salah, including salam, even at the time of salam, he would raise his hands with the salam, just like you have seen the Shias doing it. And if you are surprised, the hadith in Sahih Muslim. That person comes and he tells you, brother, why are you not following this hadith? What are you going to say? Then you take another hadith where it says that we used to raise hands in every action except for salam. Then there are hadiths that say that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to raise his hands 5 times in every 2 rak'ahs. Then there are hadiths that say 3 times. There are hadiths that say 6 times, and there are hadiths that say not at all. How to pick? One person writes a book, he mentions one type of hadith. I look at it, oh, this is from Sahih al-Bukhari. I'm going to follow this. All the Imams were wrong. They may not have heard this hadith. Second person gives me another book. I read that one. Oh, this hadith there is a hadith in Sahih Muslim. I should become a Shia today. I told you the hadith in Sahih Muslim. Mut'ah, the hadith about Mut'ah, where is it? In Sahih al-Bukhari. Allowing the Mut'ah. That marriage. The hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari. Someone comes and shows us that hadith. What are you going to do with it? Make it easy on yourself. Don't start judging the hadith. During the time of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, a person came to him and he said, accusing Imam Abu Hanifa in a good way, he says, I devoted my life for memorizing the hadith, and this is why I don't have time for opinions. Nice way. He's telling him that you only have time for opinions and I have time for hadith. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says, do you have any book that you study the hadith from? He said, yes. And he had a book with him. He said, this is a book that I wrote by listening the hadith from my teacher. Imam Muwaffaq rahimahullah al-Makki al-Shafi'i, who was a Shafi'i, he narrates that Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, when he opened the first page, the first hadith on the page said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَلَدُ الزِّنَا شَرُّ ثَلَاثَةٍ. The son that was born from zina, he's the worst of the 3, which means father, mother, and the son, he's the worst of the 3. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says to him, what do you say about this hadith? He's the worst of the 3? He said, of course, this is what the hadith said. He said, no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. No person will carry the burden of others. Parents made a mistake, committed a sin, and you're telling me that the boy is bad, and he's the worst out of these parents? It's against Quran. What's the answer for it? He says, I only memorize hadith. I said to him, this is why we are trying to understand it. And then he tells him that this is not about all of the in every situation. This hadith is about the situation where parents committed adultery. They had a son, and that son, when he grew, he started robbing people, he started stealing, and he started committing all kinds of sins. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said he turned out to be the worst of the three. It's about that specific situation. If you apply it on everyone, that's a big mistake. So this is what I was saying, that in many occasions, really, people have very limited knowledge of the hadith. And then we base our decisions on those few hadiths. And as I said, if a person will really present that hadith for us, a book of hadith with these type of things, he can really mislead us very badly. He can mislead us very badly. Why? He puts one hadith about raising the hand throughout the salah. He puts another hadith about salah not breaking with sleeping at all. You can find that hadith. And he brings us third hadith that Prophet ﷺ urinated while standing up, Sahih al-Bukhari. Then the fourth hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ performed the salah while he was carrying Umama, his granddaughter Umama, on his shoulder. For the reference, Sahih al-Bukhari. What are you going to do? He brought fifth hadith about mud'ah. And you go on. And then he quotes an ayah from Quran al-Kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that don't drink don't get intoxicated at the time of salah. Rest of the time you're okay with it. It's in Quran. Then he brings an ayah of Quran. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe to those who perform the salah. Is it in Quran? No. Am I making a mistake? Isn't this in Quran? فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe to those who perform the salah. Is it part of the ayah or complete ayah? Look at it. It's complete ayah. It's a complete ayah. He puts that reference over there. Oh, we are not supposed to do it. Look. Misleading is misleading. This is an exaggeration of an example, but if a person doesn't even have that much information, he could be misled by similar things. And the higher example is what normally happens around us, where we see people that they got one hadith from here, one from there, and they were told that, see, you see the hadith yourself. And you say, oh yeah, really, I saw it. He showed it to me in Bukhari, in Muslim. I saw it myself. I know you saw it. Did you see the other ones? The fuqaha didn't know the other ones. Abdullah ibn Mubarak didn't know it. Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah didn't know it. Imam Nawawi didn't know it. Hafiz ibn Hajar didn't know it. None of those people. So this is something serious. And it's very important for us to straighten our understanding about it. Once, just as a matter of piece of information that may be helpful, once someone read a book about questions, objections about it, and really he came to me very straightforward. Some people try to hide, some people are not that extreme, but he came with very straightforward opinion of what he thought was right, and that was following any of these imams is just like what Allah says in Quran. Kuffar used to say, we follow our forefathers. So he's applying the ayah of the following the kufr on following the ai. Number one, it falls under the category where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُحَرِّفُونَ الْكَلِمَ عَمَّ مَوَاضِعِهِ. They change the words of Allah from its proper positions. So this is what he's doing, but it's difficult to make him understand that. So I said to him, in that case, if following the imams falls under that category, then let's do this. Let us find out what are the sources of our deen? Where are we learning the deen from? Can we really trust Imam Bukhari anymore, the Sahih hadith that are in Sahih al-Bukhari? Can we trust the hadith in Sahih Muslim? Can we trust any of the hadith? A single hadith, can we trust it? And the answer will be, according to that opinion, no. No way. Because, guaranteed, pick up a chain of the hadith, and you will find, if not all, at least, this is what you need. One of them in the chain of the narrators, that was according to that opinion, was a follower of shirk, wal-iyazu billah, and because he's the follower of one of the imams. Not a single chain of hadith you have where the people in the chain of narrators are not followers of any of the imams. What are you going to do? All of these muhaddithin did follow.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Like, many of us are asked this question. Like, one person approaches us, any person. They ask the question, madhab do you follow? For example, I would answer this question as I follow the Hanafi madhab. The person said, I follow the Prophet also.
Right.
So then, what would be the appropriate response to it?
If that person calls madhab, what he's following, he calls it madhab, then he doesn't know what type of mistake he's making. The reason is, madhab means a path. We call ourselves followers of Hanafi madhab, which means we choose the path. Where does this path take us to? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If that person is using Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam as a path, where is he going? It would be interesting to ask him, where are you going? You are just using him as a road, as a pathway. So, madhab means dhahaba yadhabu madhab, the pathway, the direction that you choose to get to live following Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And if a person says, I'm following Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who these ai*imma were following? Shaitan? Of course, they were following the deen, they were following the hadith, they were following the sunnah. The question comes now, the next question for this person is, where are you getting your hadith from? From Imam Bukhari? Are you following Imam Bukhari? Because if Imam Bukhari said this hadith is authentic, you take it. So you are a follower of Imam Bukhari. If Imam Bukhari says that this hadith is not authentic, you reject the hadith. Why not follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says this is authentic, then only you accept the hadith. Otherwise, you don't accept it. Always people are following others. You will always be following someone. Because Imam Bukhari says about a hadith authentic. Imam Muslim says no, it's not. Imam Muslim says it's authentic. Imam Bukhari says it's not. You are following one of the two. Now, the third thing. It practically happened to me. Someone said to me, I follow hadith. I said to him, what if you don't know the hadith? Then I will look for it. What if you don't know the hadith and you have no understanding of it? So, what are you going to do at that matter, at that situation? He says, I will find a hadith for it. Okay. You have been doing salah for so many years. Where do you keep your gaze during salah? He says, on the place of the sujood. Give me the hadith. Tell me the hadith about it. No hadith. So what you should do? Keep your eyes out? For me, it's easy. I would tell you, it's in Fiqh Hanafi. And it was their responsibility to find all the proofs. They have documented the proofs. It's there. I know the proof. But for me, I won't show you the proof. I will show you in the Fiqh Hanafi. You show me that in the hadith because you said you don't follow anyone else. You just follow the hadith. You show me that. So, point is, now, I will tell you one thing. Very simple way of understanding it. We went for Hajj. In Hajj, we had a person, he came to me and says, I want to do the Hajj according to the hadith. MashaAllah, very nice. Do it according to the hadith. I won't tell you nothing. Now, I said to him, what type of Hajj are you going to do? Tamattu', Qiran or Ifrad? Oh, I'm doing Tamattu'. I said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did 3 types of Hajj or 1 Hajj? He performed only 1 Hajj. Where did the 3 types of Hajj come from? No answer. You're going to do Hajj Tamattu'. Did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam do Tamattu'? The answer is no. Why are you doing Tamattu' for? No answer. How are you going to perform the Hajj? How are you going to perform the Tawaf? How are you going to perform the Sa'i? Show me 1 hadith about each. No answer. And he wants to do the Hajj according to hadith. This is the reality of it. Practically, of course, what could be better? Practically, people who claim it, they are following nothing. They are following nothing. Tell him, if your nikah is valid today, tell me hadith about the nikah, the method of doing the nikah. Otherwise, your nikah is not valid. So, it's a complete sharia. It's a complete deen. So, it's only a claim. Not only we follow Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of these ai*imma, all the mujtahideen, this is what they were doing. All what I'm doing today, I really don't want to put myself as an example for that. All what that person would be doing today is ignoring all of that and just going with his own opinion. Considering calling his opinion, remember this, calling his opinion hadith. He will follow only his opinions, and at every step he is convincing himself and others, I'm only following a hadith. Subhanallah. So even if a person who says I'm a Hanafi and he is not really following, at least he's lying against Imam Abu Hanifa. That person is going straight higher there. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Okay, let me take yours. Just because you didn't sleep today.
What about in those areas where there are, the ikhtilaf amongst the A'imah, where, the Imams, of like Imam Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, who came later, who chose a different opinion than, Imam Malik or Imam Hanifa. What about, how rectify for like some of the people who are, trying to follow the most authentic opinion, they find, that Imam Shafi or Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal had a different opinion than Imam Malik or Imam Abu Hanifa.
Yeah, the question is that the Imams that came later, maybe a question that sometimes comes up, that maybe they had now more sources of information because now hadiths are getting compiled and everything else is there. So can we say that they may have more sources and more authentic, stronger opinion? Remember, with these hadiths, of course, during the time of Sahaba and during the time of Tabi'een, the way knowledge was spread and how everyone was devoted to learning, memorizing, it was never like that after that. So knowledge was to the speak, as Qatada, I think it was Qatada, Wallahu Alam, who says that the knowledge of all the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een, you could find it in two Sahaba, with two Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een. They have compiled the knowledge of all the Sahaba, and that was Ali and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhuma. They gathered the knowledge of all the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een. And then, of course, they were teaching throughout their lives, and it was a time of learning and memorizing, and people are just memorizing it. So it's not that the knowledge was less. Regardless, it is possible some of these A'immah got a hadith that the other ones did not get. That is possible. But what is the percentage of this possibility for us to consider it in accepting and rejecting a ruling? Because when we really study the proofs of these A'immah, you find that all of these Imams, they are writing hadiths of the other opinion also. And they are giving the ruling that why they are not accepting that opinion. So when a person reads that, he realizes that it's not that the Imam did not have it, it's only because there are three different opinions, three different types of hadith. So he had to choose, each of them has to choose one of them. What will be the method of selecting one out of three, out of four, out of five, out of six in the Rafaidain, as I said? What will be the method? What should be the rule to adopt in accepting and not accepting the others? That is the difference of opinion. And of course, in that difference of opinion, even today, if we are to come up with a new solution, it will be a fifth opinion. And all of these opinions are valid. Because if Rasulullah ﷺ raised it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times during the salah, and all the hadiths are authentic, how we are going to choose one out of these 5 different methods, one out of these 6 methods? Imam Malik rahimahullah, he says, simple for me. I will see the people of Medina. His ruling. He said, my final rule is, when there are 4 or 5, more than one way of doing it, I will say what the people of Medina are doing. That will be my opinion. Imam Shafi rahimahullah says, I will look for the one that is the strongest hadith. I will look for the strongest hadith with the most authentic chain of narrators. Otherwise, the rest of them could be authentic too. There may be 5 sahih hadiths. He says, out of the 5 sahih hadiths, I want to see which is the best if I was to choose between the 6 as far as the authenticity is concerned. I know the other ones are authentic. I know Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this also. But I have to choose. The method for me to choose is, I will choose the strongest chain of narrators. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah says, I will look at the wording. I will look at the wording and I will take the opinion that will be closest to the wordings of these ahadith. So where I would see that it is closest to the wording, the act that will match the wording of these all hadiths in the best way, I will take that. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says, I will see the one that is closest to the Quran, and then I will try to put all of them together if possible. If I can take all of them and put them together and not reject, I will do that. Otherwise, then I will accept the one that is closest to the wordings of Quran, if there is any ayah in Quran about it. Different methods. For example, now, raising the hands, up to where? This is a question. Up to where? So there are ahadith in the Sahih, in the Sunan, that say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his hand up to his chest. Another hadith, he raised his hand up to the bottom part of his ear. Another hadith, raised his hand up to the top part of his ear. All authentic hadith. Now, what should we do with it? So these aimah now will come into, according to these rules. Imam Shafi rahimahullah says, and according to his time, whenever he got that hadith, it may be that was the strongest. So he says, I will go up to the shoulders. Imam Malik rahimahullah went with the people of Medina. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says that I will say, raise it in a way that your thumb is by the lower part of the ear, so the fingers will get to the top part of the ear, and your bottom part of the hand will be by the shoulder, so all three hadiths are put together. Different ways, as I said, different methods. So this is what different methods mean. Now, if a person, there is no other way. If a person will select one of these ahadiths, will be some other method or will be using one of these methods. So there is no strong and weak. It's only what method you use.